Welcome to Whispering Loudly, the award-winning Workshop Whisperer podcast, as featured by Apple, with Rachael Evans, the #1 automotive business coach in the aftermarket. Thanks to Platinum sponsor Podium and Titanium sponsor Mechanic Desk.
Whispering Loudly is a Workshop Whisperer podcast with Rachael Evans, the #1 business coach for mechanics in Australia and New Zealand. And this podcast has been Apple featured before, so we thank Apple for that. And we thank you for your ratings and reviews. Now, if you do listen on Apple, what you do is you scroll down through the episodes at the top and you'll see ratings and reviews there. We'd love it if you could tap the 5 stars and then give us a review, just like Yelp 12345 has done. This person says 5 stars, Rachael. Essential listening. Rachael helps workshop owners navigate the world as both automotive specialists and budding entrepreneurs. That's a good one. Her workshop whispering helps busy technicians make the most of their businesses with a healthy focus on work-life balance and profit! ! Thank you so much for that review. Performance Hub coming up next with Coach Dean.
Welcome to Performance Hub with Dean Evans.
We'd like to welcome Coach Dean Evans back to Performance Hub for his 4th episode on the 4 core reasons why your auto repair shop is failing to reach its full potential. Thanks so much for coming, Dean.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And if you haven't listened to the other 3 episodes, you can listen to this one first if you want, but just make sure you go back and listen to all of the Performance Hub episodes during this season to get a broader picture.
Okay, so over the previous 3 episodes, we've looked at 3 of the 4 core reasons why your auto repair shop may not be reaching its potential. So now in this episode, let's talk about that vital 4th core reason.
Well, the vital 4th core reason, that's quite a mouthful, isn't it, is a lack of sunshine. And by lack of sunshine, I don't mean you've got a vitamin D deficiency. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. That's not the point of this story. It's simply the overlying frustration that you feel when your workshop's just not working the way you want it to work. And when we look at the 3 elements that are wrapped up in this idea of lack of sunshine, they're desperation, agitation, and motivation.
Desperation. Tell me more.
Well, desperation, you're just trying so many things, doing, a bunch of activities. Maybe you're running a heap of marketing campaigns. Maybe you've tried selling different ways. Perhaps you've tried recruiting for qualified, skilled techs in all these different forums, across all these different platforms, but nothing seems to be working the way you want or the way it looks like Joe Brown's workshop is down the road. And so you start to get this feeling of desperation that nothing you're doing is working, so you keep trying more and more and more things, but it never clicks. It never kind of starts to light up for you.
I think we see desperation show up a lot, like you mentioned the recruitment piece, but it can look like you hiring someone that you know is not the right culture fit for your shop, and you hire them because you think having someone butt on that seat is better than no one. So you hire them out of desperation thinking, hey, if they pump out a couple of hours a day for me, that'll be better than nothing, but it's not better than nothing.
Well, you decide that having someone is better than having no one, and that's a recipe for disaster, because if you've got the wrong one, it's bad for everyone, including your customers. We've seen this as well, certainly from a marketing perspective. Someone will have noticed something that an Instagram influencer has done, and they go, oh, well, if it works for them, then I'm going to make that work for me. But it doesn't work like that. They know their market, they know the message, they know what media they're on, they go and make that match, right? But it's different for your auto repair shop. So desperation comes in where, you see other things working for other people in other businesses and other industries, and so you decide, well, then that'll work for me. So you give it a crack. But when it doesn't, you become more and more desperate. It's like the person who's down to their last dollar. The gambler who's down to their last dollar, and they're just going to bet everything on the rank outsider, hoping they're going to pull that rabbit out of the hat. Rarely does that work.
So in essence, it's actually they resort to distractions and that leads to further desperation. What's next?
Well, yeah, if you feel desperate for long enough, well, eventually you're going to become quite angry, quite aggressive, quite agitated. And if you're running a workshop, particularly if you're leading a team and you turn up to work every day agitated, that energy starts to flow. It ripples through the entire business, across the entire operation. So not only will you start to notice that your team's a little bit distant from you, you'll also start to notice that your customers are a little wary of you. You know, they stop coming in because there's this negative energy, just this essence of what you bring into your workshop every day actually says to people, without saying it in words, stay away. I don't want you near me. And that's a really tough thing for people to, number one, it requires a reasonable amount of self-awareness and self-maturity to go, hey, you know what? There's all these problems around me, but there seems to be one common denominator to all of it, and that's me. Maybe I'm the problem.
That definitely takes a high level of self-awareness though, doesn't it? We speak to more than our fair share of workshop owners who want to blame everyone but them for their problems.
Yeah, 100%. And we don't say this because it's not happened to us. We are the living, breathing example of this ourselves. Individually and collectively, at times we've both had to say, hey, you know what? I think we're the problem. So you start working through, well, okay, desperation. We've been trying all this stuff. Is the stuff not working because it's just not the right message? Maybe we're not angling at the right market, or maybe we haven't found the right media, the right platform to reach our clients on. And the agitation part, you do that enough, it doesn't work for long enough, you get angry, upset, annoyed, irritated, agitated, and that's when people say, hey, you know what, you just need to calm down, just, take a chill pill. Doesn't help the situation because that's not a strategy for actually getting yourself out of the place you are. But of course, if you do a few things and, hey, by chance, some things work on the one-off, well, it leads to this third element of lack of sunshine, which is motivation. You're really motivated when things are going well, but you just want to climb back into bed, pull the covers up over your head and just wish the world would go away in the moments when it's not. And again, if you have no proven tactics, no measurable incentives for wanting to do the work required to grow your profits, build your workshop, enjoy the life that you've got, then your motivation will ebb and flow. It will be peaks when life's good, and there will be very, very deep troughs when life's not so good. When cash is tight, when the jobs are drying up, and you're lying awake in the middle of the night just wondering how are you going to make the ends meet.
Join our free Facebook group, Your Profitable Auto Repair Shop, and join in on the conversation with auto repair shop owners just like you globally.
So we have desperation, agitation, motivation. What's a good first step to be able to walk yourself out of those things?
The good first step, it's kind of a simple one, but it's not so easy for people to do. And that is to admit that what you're doing is not working. That's the first step. It's like any addict, and we have done an episode in a previous season around addictive or behaviours that meet the definition of an addictive behaviour. One is, you first of all, before you remove yourself from any negative situation or circumstance, one must first accept that what they're doing is not working for them. That can be not working for them physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. In a business sense, financially, we just need to put our hand up and really look ourselves in the mirror, or take a good look in the mirror and say, you know what? It's not working. I need to do something else.
So we've had a great discussion over these past 4 episodes around core reasons why your auto repair shop may not be reaching its potential. So can we just recap what each of those core elements are?
Yeah, core element. The first core element is a lack of skill. Again, not technical skill, got nothing to do with that, but it's the lack of skill that you may have around knowing your numbers, your financial skill, around running a business, your management skill around leading a team, the skill around managing your people, leading your people. The second core reason was a lack of strategy, unclear strategy on how to price your parts, your products, your services effectively. Lack of strategy around how to increase and ensure that your team is at optimal productivity levels. And thirdly, lack of strategy about understanding how to grow and maintain the profitability of your auto repair shop. Core reason number 3 was a lack of support. This is what we call your workshop success team. This is where you surround yourself with skilled, qualified, experienced, proven professionals that can do things with you and for you that will be, in the long run, cheaper and certainly accomplish more quickly than you could do yourself. And that's surrounding yourself with a talented accountant, an accurate bookkeeper, a clever financial planner, and of course, someone who has relevant industry knowledge. So having a coach or a mentor around you that understands your situation, your circumstances, your industry, and can help move you and your workshop forward. And the fourth core reason, as we've just discussed, is a lack of sunshine. It's where, you experience this desperation and you're trying so many things, but nothing seems to be clicking. You experience this agitation, frustrated because it could be so much better, but it's just not happening the way you want. And finally, these ebbs and flows, peaks and troughs, highs and lows of motivation. You really go after it when things are good, but when things start to trail off and, you feel a little bit more uncertain or uneasy around what's going to happen, you notice your own motivation, your own desire to, wake up, get up and get out there and kick your goals actually begins to wane.
And we've actually got a bit of a bonus that we're going to do in our next Performance Hub episode with you, Dean, and that is to talk about the very personal side of what could be holding your auto repair shop back from achieving its potential. Because what we've spoken about in these previous 4 episodes is very much to do with the ins and outs of the business itself. But then there's something very critical that has to be in good order before we even get to any of that. And we might keep it as a bit of a surprise for our next episode. So looking forward to that. Thank you so much for joining us again today.
You're welcome. Make sure you jump on the next episode, guys. It's going to bring it all together for you.
And make sure, if you're not already a member, you jump into our free Facebook group, Your Profitable Auto Repair Shop, where we're having amazing conversations about growing your auto repair shop every single day. See you again next week.
Thanks for listening to Whispering Loudly, the award-winning Workshop Whisperer podcast, as featured by Apple with Rachael Evans, the #1 automotive business coach in the aftermarket. Thanks to Platinum sponsor Podium and Titanium sponsor Mechanic Desk.